that everything so the entire cosmos, everything in existence came from nothing though, right? Or you're just not sure?
I definitely don't think it came from nothing. That doesn't make any sense to me, but I don't know what made it all begin to exist.
Do you think that the idea of something coming from nothing can be possible?
No.
Okay. Do you know what a true infinite is? Are you familiar with the issues of traversing an infinity?
I think a true infinite is a oxymoron.
I would agree. Yeah. Okay, cool. So something can't come from nothing. You don't believe in a true infinite. So that probably leaves us with something that's timeless, spaceless, and matterless, and outside of this
No.
to create us.
It doesn't probably lead us to that, but also I don't understand where that argument comes from. Like, why would it have to be timeless, spaceless? So there's two huge problems with this for me. One, why on earth would it have to not have any of the qualities of the universe? Two, something that's timeless, spaceless, and immaterial is the definition of something that does not even exist.
Okay, so I'll answer your first question, then your next. So your first question was, why does it have to be something that's not in our universe, right?
No, no, no. You said it can't be timeless, spaceless, or immaterial.
No, I said it would have to be, but then your first question was, why couldn't it be something inside of our universe?
I never said that.
Yeah, you said, why couldn't it be something that's inside of our universe or that's made of something?
I never said that.
That's okay. You made 2 points. So what was your first point then? So your second point
My
was,
first point was I don't understand why God must be timeless, spaceless, and immaterial. I don't understand why the only thing that can create a universe would have to have those qualities. I really don't understand how that logically follows.
because if it was inside of this universe, the only thing that this universe has is dependent things. It couldn't be dependent.
So, but God could be outside the universe and still have an element of time, space, material to him.
No, he can enter into it, but no, he can't be made of any of those things because those things are inherently dependent things.
Okay, so why can God not be dependent on anything?
Well, if we're going to say that we don't believe in a true infinity, then this first mover would have to be uncaused and also not dependent. It would have to be independent. There is nothing that is made up of time or matter that is independent. So when we start describing something
Well, that we
like
know
this,
of. I don't think.
well, yeah, I mean, we also aren't certain that there's not like clowns on far distant planets, but yeah, we can speak to probabilities. I don't say anything
Okay.
certain. I don't even think you should say that the Big Bang or anything else is certain, right?
No, I mean I have as much confidence that the Big Bang happened than I have that I am holding my own wallet in my hand. But
Really?
it's possible that neither of those things are true.
Yeah. So nothing's 100% certain. So to say like, yeah, that we know of, sure, but we could just play that game with everything. I'm talking about
Yeah.
probabilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably because everything that is inside this universe is a dependent thing, and we've ruled out true infinites, this thing would start to look and be described a lot like God.
Okay. Well, then give me the odds.
Probably like, I'm gonna put it at like 93.7%.
Where did that number come from?
I've actually, I just calculated it in my head. I'm actually a super genius and I'm blessing your live right now, but I'd say
Okay.
93.7.
Okay.
But do you follow what I'm saying as far as probabilities? Like if we're ruling out infinity,
Not
like
probabilities.
really?
No.
The probability is just the likelihood of something.
I know, but there's no way of calculating what the odds are that God made our universe.
I don't know about that. I'll maybe grant that. I don't know if there's like not a way. I think that we can pretty easily get here once we eliminate an infinity, and that now we have a first mover, but that first mover can't be dependent, and all we see is dependent things. So you start to describe how we describe God.
No, well, you, so we could have there's a multiverse concept. I don't put any stock in it, but we could live in a simulation. I mean, it could be perhaps time is cyclical, so our universe wouldn't depend. Our universe would have always existed, or maybe time is circular, which means the way cause and effect works isn't linear or anything like that. I mean, there
Yeah,
are
but that would
other
be
explanations.
the things you just named would be a huge leap and totally getting into unknown territory even more, right? So like time not being linear, maybe we're in a simulation, you're having to make these enormous jumps that are
God's an enormous jump.
no, not at all. No.
Yes.
No, I just walked you through like the premises. Like we seem to agree, but you hop off and I call it God, which is what most atheists do. They don't like the word God.
Nobody,
Sense of the
including
word.
you or me, has any idea what the hell a timeless, spaceless, immaterial being even is.
It sounds more like we're trying to fill in the
It's
gap.
just a claim.
No, it's not. It's not the gap of the gods argument. It's there are no other options except for this being that starts to get described.
That's
like
an
God.
argument from ignorance.
No, not at all. Because
No, yes.
again, no, because
You're
the
saying
premise is-
this is my belief. I can't give you the odds or anything like to empirically to back it up. But the other ones I discount, therefore point over here. That's
Can you pull the odds right now for the Big Bang? What's the percentage that the Big Bang happened?
almost certain. I mean,
What is that a
we can-
percentage?
Let's
Almost
say
certain.
like 99.9 repeating.
Oh, where'd you get the 99 from?
Well, I mean, I'm just assuming that my
So-
eyeballs are correct.
So the difference is we're talking about something that there is evidence for. Nope, coffee break.
Oh, there we go. I think we're good.
So the only reason that we have this idea called the Big Bang, it was built upon evidence. That's very different from a spaceless, timeless, immaterial God, which we obviously have no evidence of, nor could we. Because there's no space, there's no time, there's no matter about it.
So
You can't interact with
certain
things
extent,
like that.
I actually agree with you. To a certain extent, I agree with you. The way that I'm getting to this conclusion is by two important things that we first can rule out. So a true infinite can't exist because contradictions can't be possible. At least with our current reasoning and tools that we have, contradictions can't be possible. A true infinity can't exist, so we've ruled that out. So now we're going to say that there is a first cause. That first cause, we've never identified, as far back as we've seen, anything that is truly independent. Then when you say, what would this thing look like then if it's not independent or if it's not dependent and we can't have a true infinity, where does that leave us?
Definitely not the Christian God.
Sure, and maybe I'd agree with you. It leaves us with a creator, though. We'd have to have something outside of the box that built the things inside the box.
It could be 7 creators.
Sure, I'm making an argument for God or gods, not a Christian God or a Islamic God. Just that we do have a creator, a divine creator.
So I
don't even know
agree
who
that
cares about us.
this
Just put that
God
out
that
there.
you've defined is nothing other than something other than the universe and played a role in the inception of our universe. That could literally be anything. And if you're telling me that there should be some reason for me to think that something other than the universe exists, I mean, I agree, but that just isn't very profound to me.
Okay, so you do agree with a creator.
No, I don't agree with a creator. I'm not telling you that it is necessarily illogical or anything like that, but I think the qualities that this creator has, I think you're making enormous leaps to grant it those qualities, and to say that it must be, even to say that it must not be contingent, I think is an enormous leap. But to say it must have these particular qualities is a big leap too. I might have said that more than once.
The only qualities I'm saying it can't be bound by are the ones that we observe in this universe, in the box that we're inside.
Yeah,
It can't.
I don't agree with that. Like humans make humans. So if I was to say to you, well, I'm a person. I have flesh. I have DNA. I have hair. Therefore, I could only have come from a fleshless, hairless thing with no DNA. That's
No,
not where I
no,
came from.
you just described a dependent thing, which is a human being. You're dependent on something. That's exactly my point. You can't be
I'm
made of
talking about the
anything in this
qualities
universe.
you've assigned to it.
Yes.
It must be spaceless, timeless, immaterial. No, it's not the case that it must not be.
No, it would have to be. Yes.
But that doesn't make any sense.
The reason why is because those three descriptors, those three things are dependent things.
Yes.
Anything that has any of those are inherently dependent. This thing could not be dependent because true infinity does not exist. Timeless, spaceless, matterless. God.
I don't
Did I stump you? Wow, I haven't
know.
seen anyone do
I'm
this.
just trying to figure out how to say something that I haven't already said before. Um,
It's entirely
I don't get where you get the assertion that even if even if everything about this universe is dependent, I don't get the assertion that the universe itself is dependent on anything, and I really don't get the assertion that the only thing that can create a dependent universe is something that isn't dependent.
So, and again, unless I'm missing something, and I'm not even saying this in like a condescending way.
I can add one more
fill me.
thing so that we
Okay.
don't each repeat ourselves.
Yep.
So you are assuming a way in which time works and a way in which cause an event happens that we don't know for certain.
Wait, can you give me literally 19 seconds?
Literally 19 seconds. So you're arguing that everything I'm talking or everything we know about the universe,
Wait, 11 seconds. Seriously, 11 seconds. Hold on.
anything natural would just point to infinite regress, and I'm just telling you we don't have enough knowledge to now I have no idea what's going on.
God.
Are you ordering something?
Sounds like Call of Duty to me.
Hey, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry, buddy. 1 sec. Okay, can you repeat what you said?
I don't remember what I said.
Something about timeless regress, but then I grabbed my charger.
Oh, so like we're talking about infinite regress, it sounds like. I'm just saying I don't think we have enough information to say that the things that cause this universe to exist can only go backwards into infinity or anything like that. Time could be circular, or maybe this is the only universe that has ever existed and it'll be the only one that ever exists. I don't know what that would look like or what that would mean, but we don't know what a spaceless, timeless, immaterial being looks like either. So
Right.
I don't
The-
find your explanation to be more persuasive than anything else.
Well, so to be fair though, I guess you did. I was gonna say you haven't really given a better explanation, but I guess you threw in a couple there. So the time could be circular, or this could be the only universe to have ever existed. For instance, right, time being circular, the way I'm coming to this is by using things that we identify currently and then saying what is and what's not possible. So we don't identify time as being circular. We identify time as being linear. So
Yeah. But we don't identify God. We just define him as these things to satisfy an unknown or an unanswered question. If God is timeless, spaceless, and immaterial, then how on earth can God even do anything?
yeah. And I actually think it's a good question. The way that I view it is, so one, my comment had a little aggression behind it because I was also battling the other dude. But one, I think it's hard, and this is my cop-out answer, and then I'll give you my second, more straightforward answer. One, I think it's hard to view how a timeless being does anything because we are beings locked inside of time. Which again, maybe it's a little self-defeating. I'll grant you. Like I said, my cop-out answer. It's going to be hard to even describe it. My more direct answer would be how I would think about it is there's no timeline for God, right? Everything is is all at once from God's perspective. There is no start and finish. It's just happening. It's in front of him or her, whatever you want to call it. The creation, you can either say happens simultaneously. So the second he imagines or thinks or starts to even conceptualize anything, then it's just a simultaneous thing. Time happens at the exact same time that he decides to create this timeline. It's not before, right? So like thoughts are usually measured in time, right? Because you're saying the issue would be God would like think about it, and then even if there's nanoseconds between that, then time would exist, right? Okay. So I'm arguing that those nanoseconds are also how we're describing how our thoughts work. I would say this is a true instance. That's the best way that I visualize it in my head.
It's the best. Sorry, did you say the best example of a true instance? Just the very last part.
Wait, were you just listening to music the whole time, or were you actually listening to what I said?
I was playing guitar, but I heard everything
Oh,
you said
okay.
except the very last part. I was like, wait, what now?
Like, so for me, I don't think of it as God thought about something and then it happened, because then that would imply time, right? Even for this timeless being. I picture it as a simultaneous thing. Either that, or you could take the position that would still be consistent, which is he's always creating. And again, we're just locked in time, so we perceive it on a timeline. He doesn't.
Okay.
Like for
It's
instance,
possible that I'm an idiot, but I don't know what that means.
it's okay. This is how I imagine in my head. This also could be. I don't have a good answer to your question.
Okay. So like I'm not saying that I'm not sitting here being like, well, you violated the third transmogrifier, therefore your argument is no longer valid. I'm not saying that I'm not saying any of that. I'm just asking for why should I believe it? Because I can construct I can write a book, and the book is true, and that proves it, right? So it doesn't really prove it. And anybody can make arguments that where the premises are, they don't contradict themselves, but why should I believe the conclusion? And I don't know.
Yeah. No,
I just don't believe it.
it's also
But I'm
to.
not really offering you an alternative either. So
My only position is that to me, like when you break down some of these philosophical principles, it makes the most sense that the start of our universe, like whatever that was, the start of our universe, would have to attribute or would have to have certain things or have to not have certain things that would make it like a dependent thing. I actually don't think it's useful to answer your question. I don't make a claim that this God loves us. I don't make a claim that this God cares how we worship him or her. My only thing is an infinite universe can't logically happen, and the start of our universe would look very similar to a timeless, spaceless, matterless thing. That's it.
okay, I mean I've said all of this already, but like I don't I don't see how it necessarily follows that God must be absent of any of the qualities that our universe possesses, or that it must, or that so I've already said all that before, so I don't think we have to say too many
Yeah, that's
other
okay, man.
things
We
about
are,
it.
yeah, we've probably beaten this to death, but I appreciate you having me on. And do you do oh yeah, do you do other topics besides religion?
No, I don't really give two shits about religion. Actually, I just mostly focus on science stuff. The people I typically debate with are trying to give me a biblical answer for why evolution is impossible, so I argue against that. But I mostly do it by just giving the overwhelming scientific evidence.
Like against Christians, you're saying?
Usually, yeah.
Do you think, out of curiosity, I know you said you're not convinced, but do you think this idea of like a deist God or whatever, an indifferent God, but it would be something that, what do you think
A
about?
deist god. So a universe created by a deist god. I talked about this, I think, last night. A universe caused by a deist god would look no different than a universe that created itself and had no other cause behind it.
Right. Yeah.
So
So your thing is
it's
like
it's 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 a case where it's like, remember when I asked you earlier, what are the odds?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was a terrible way to say that. It was a good gotcha, and I didn't even mean it. I didn't realize it until you asked me the other thing. But we
Yeah.
don't need to have a number. But without a number, I think it's still easy to weigh one explanation versus another. So a deist universe or a universe that just made itself exist, they would look indistinguishable. So you can't tilt it either way. So the odds can't favor one thing or the other.
Yeah, you're saying like let's say even like you granted everything I said, like there's no real utility in it.
But it's just epistemically worthless.
Yeah, yeah, there's no yeah. Like there's no it doesn't have any utility.
Yeah.
Does can I ask you one last question? Like for you personally, like God aside, do you think that when you're no longer here, do you think that it's just nothing for eternity? Do you think there's something interesting in like if it's eternal, maybe your consciousness like combines back together again at some point? Like, what do you think about that?
Nope. I don't know what consciousness is, but I don't think it keeps going.
Okay, so for you, when it's like that's it. The ride's over.
Yep. Yeah, that's the only thing that freaks me out and
Yeah.
bears. But just like the idea that once I'm dead, I won't even know it. That's very bothersome.
Do you think like don't you think it's kind of weird too, like this whole like self-awareness that we have and for it all to be pointless? I'm not even using this as an argument. Don't you think it's just weird? I feel like it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.